So that was Jeremy Hunt there, the Health Secretary, answering questions on the Andrew Marr Show. Well, with us now is Dr. Rachel Clarke, that junior doctor in Oxford who was quoted there by Andrew and who had some pretty trenchant criticisms of Jeremy Hunt read out there by Andrew Marr in that clip. So let's talk to you, Rachel. Thanks very much for being with us. What do you say, first of all, to the Health Secretary's response to your question and your point and other doctors' points as well, where he said, actually, all of your anger is a lot to do with the disinformation that has been spread by the British Medical Association, your representative body, who he said the BMA have been totally irresponsible.
It's extraordinary for me as a frontline junior doctor to hear my Health Secretary say that. I would like to believe that if he were really committed to patient safety, he'd actually take seriously the concerns from the front line of doctors like me. Instead, he seemed there to have used my concerns as an opportunity to score a cheap political point at the expense of the BMA. He says he cares about junior doctors' morale, so I can tell him now, to you, that the single biggest problem for my morale, the thing that is making me want to quit my profession at the moment, is not the BMA, it's nothing I hear from my union or read in the press, it is what he, my Health Secretary, says. It is the way he spins against us, he manipulates statistics against us, and frankly he lies. One striking example being, he claimed to the media that we would receive an 11% pay rise in his contract. It sounded very slick, it was nice spin for the media. Every junior doctor in the country looked at the details of his contract and saw that that alleged pay rise was offset by stringent cuts in our pay elsewhere. The key...
Because he said in that interview again, he said, you know, the BMA are saying doctors' pay will be cut. It isn't. Working hours will be longer. They won't be. Yeah. He's saying that direct. Are you saying he's...
I'm saying he
not telling the truth?
I'm saying he's lying. As it happens, I'm not terribly interested in the pay issue here. What I care about is my patient's safety and the ways in which I believe his contract will cause my patient's safety to be jeopardised. The point about the lies he persists in repeating about pay is this. As a doctor, the core value that drives what I do every day is trust. If my patients don't trust me, then I'm nothing as a doctor, and I work very, very hard every day to ensure that my patients have complete trust in me. I need to have trust in my Secretary of State. I need him, through his behaviour and his utterances, to earn my trust.
But the wider point is the government say, and keep saying, they are trying to create a national health service that is properly 7 days a week, and that's in the patient's interest. Don't you accept that?
I entirely accept that, and I would absolutely love services at weekends to be better, but the crux of the matter is this. It's one thing for Jeremy Hunt and David Cameron to say they would like better services at weekends, but it's quite another to actually deliver those if they are not willing to provide one single extra pound of funding towards achieving those extra services. They're not providing any more doctors. So how do we have safer services at weekends? Either they will make us work longer and harder than we already do, or they will take us away from the NHS Monday to Friday. And both those examples are manifestly unfair to my patients. So it's my duty as a doctor to protect my patients from this contract. It's smoke and mirrors.
But this dispute has been dragging on for months now. There's no end in sight. Surely there must be some room for compromise between the two sides, because the patients, let's face it, are getting caught in the middle. You've got another strike on Wednesday.
Yes, precisely. And I was distraught during our last strike. The last thing I wanted to do was leave my patients. I don't want to leave them again on Wednesday. I'm livid with the Health Secretary for pushing me into a corner whereby I have no alternative.
Well, there is an alternative, that you don't go on strike. You keep talking to the government without going on strike.
Indeed. However, we have been talking for 3 years to the government and we're at an impasse. A simple way for the government to take responsibility for this situation and stop Wednesday's strike would be to acknowledge the absurdity of pretending they care about patient safety at weekends without funding it. If they provide funds for extra doctors at weekends, this all goes away. We have fixed it. That they could do that tomorrow, and that's their responsibility. And none of us can understand why they're not willing to do that.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming in. Dr. Rachel Clarke, thank you.
My pleasure.
Very
Thank
much
you.